of just a single mother trying to survive, you know.
Tonight, Melissa Robertson's family says she's still in the ICU after what authorities believe was a racially motivated murder attempt.
Female subject shot in the stomach.
Officials say Tuesday in Lockport, Illinois, 70-year-old John Shadbar was seen firing dozens of rounds with an assault-style rifle. The Chicago area man allegedly hitting his 45-year-old neighbor in the chest and hand.
You can actually see bullet holes.
Robertson's son, Mikhail Johnson, says she is that neighbor, adding his 7-year-old brother and a 3-year-old were just yards from the rampage on a trampoline.
What goes through your mind?
You know, I just thank God and I thank everything higher up that nothing even more tragic happened.
Robertson is white. Her 2 sons are black.
He called her an N-word lover and just called me and my little brother N-words.
The Will County Sheriff's Office says before this week's incident, the victim complained twice about Shadbar in March.
Hey, thank you! Got it on video!
The Sheriff's Office says the other call was about possible gunshots and fireworks, adding there was not enough evidence to make an arrest. But Johnson says his family made more calls.
And it's heartbreaking, to be honest. I feel like if it was anyone else in any other neighborhood or any other station, it'd be a different story.
There was not enough evidence to make an arrest. There was not enough evidence to make an arrest.
To a confrontation with their neighbor over a new patio. The couple, who was black, recorded as their neighbor, who was white, called the cops saying she was being assaulted. Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson has the story.
If the police had come here and overreacted, I could have been dead.
And that's precisely why Fareed's wife Narinda started filming this ugly exchange with their neighbor in Montclair, New Jersey.
You won't go home.
A woman who did in fact call police.
I filmed her because she started to play race tricks that endangered both my husband and my children.
Fareed calls this yet another example of white entitlement and black hate. The couple, they're both attorneys, live here. The neighbor's yard sits right next to theirs. Monday, Narinda was on a work call when she says the woman came to her home 3 times demanding to know if they had a permit to build a stone patio in their backyard.
Police did respond, but all parties decided not to move forward.
We don't want to wage war with our neighbors. We just want to be on our patio in quarantine backyard and, be at peace.
But thousands have now viewed the video and rallied outside of the neighbor's home who couldn't be reached for comment.
She's told my daughter that she was going to be raped if she didn't get off of her property.
A Cobb County man says someone called the police on him for babysitting while black. Corey Lewis says he was babysitting 2 children when a white woman approached him in a parking lot.
He says she wanted to see whether the children were okay and even followed him to his house. Fox 5's Denise Dillon is live in Cobb County tonight. Denise, you talked to Lewis and to the father of those children.
Yeah, I did, and they're all just shocked over this whole thing. They still can't believe it. They've known each other for a couple of years. They're good friends, and they say it's just astounding that someone would see Corey Lewis with the 2 children alone and think it's strange enough that they would call police to report a suspicious person.
I'm babysitting, right? Y'all see, look, I got 2 kids in the backseat with me. I'm babysitting. There's this lady across the street. We just came from Subway and Walmart. This lady over here, she's following me.
Stunned at what was happening, Corey Lewis turned to Facebook Live. He was babysitting 10-year-old Addison and her little brother Nicholas. He says after taking the kids to lunch, he was approached by a woman in the parking lot, wanting to know if she could talk to the children to see if they were okay, and taking down Lewis's license plate number.
From her perception, she'd seen something that wasn't right. She's being judgmental. Me looking the way I am, being with 2 kids who don't look like me.
Lewis says the woman followed him to a gas station, then all the way to his house about 5 minutes away. The next thing he knew, police showed up, wanting to talk to the kids.
Hey, can y'all step out?
I talked to Cobb County Police, who told me they were responding to a call of a suspicious person.
A Good Samaritan trying to stop two alleged thieves at a TJ Maxx in Mira Loma. Dramatic video captured by a customer showing the takedown at the location on Limonite Avenue. At least two women wearing black hoodies seen trying to walk out with arms full of purses. But when the second one tried to leave, a man jumped in to stop her, tackling her, eventually knocking her to the ground.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Recha HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren. Shalom to you other elders, brethren, fellow believers of this ministry, whoever you may be. And shalom to the elect. So anyway, I kind of put this video together because we see things are changing. We could see the turn up of what you see happening. Now, this is also because the children of Israel, as the scripture said, was it Isaiah 3 or 1? The ox knoweth his owner, is as his master crib, but Israel will not consider. And I believe that's Isaiah 1 and 3. So no matter what we say, no matter what we try to bring out, but what does this mean for us as Hebrew Israelites? These things are on a ramp. You know, these things are being turned up. So these very well laws that will be put in place can possibly, and we know how it's going to go, can affect us, right? Because the people will get tired of this type of behavior. And they'll say, just end it all. And then you got a people who setting themselves up with the anti thing and the A and the D and the L. They're going to step up and say, well, we need to destroy all of this from the root up and build a better nation. So the Odab Kale thing, right? But nobody speaks on the issues with the Bloods and Crips shooting each other. And because of media, right, and because of the spirit, let me say the spirit, you see the turn up. And now what you'll see is everything you see in the movies, right? It's a thug, right? All the images of us is thugs, unless you play a doctor and you're a mature black, so-called black man, you're a doctor. But for the most part, for young black men, you are deemed as monsters, right? And you are, a lot of them are, because of the circumstances of, you know, the so-called black community, which is garbage. Community means to come together. There's nothing good about the black community, the black hood. A hood means a covering. But this is the wickedness. They'll put it in a manner of something peaceably and it looks good on record, but inside there's nothing good about that, and that's what gets us twisted. So we'll say we're in the black community and it's the black culture, and everything inside the so-called black community and black culture is totally disruptive. So now we can also see in the first incident where the racist man shot the woman for having so-called black children. They said they called the police, they tried, and nothing happened, right? That's what they said, nothing happened. And the guy even said it, the young Jake, he said, if it was any other community, other neighborhood, yeah, they would have found something about it then. So you Jakes, you haven't woke up. We've been telling you, Leviticus 20:26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I the Lord am holy, and have severed you from other people that ye should be mine. So we see that the Lord was a separatist. Well, that too, right? And race is not strictly on skin color, by the way, right? You got people with so-called black skin that's Caucasian. It's the seed of the father. Anyway, I don't want to make this video long, but I just wanted to show you that these things are changing. Things are starting to happen. And I believe it's in the push to the, forward the agendas that's coming about. And it's really going to affect us. That's what I believe it's turning into. Well, it's going to be, we need to end it all. and they'll say those guys out on the corner, they're teaching and preaching the same thing. And they will label us with somebody like this man who shot through the door. It's so many incidents of this happening, right? The one guy, he's driving his babysitting 2 white children. Well, maybe that's his job, right? I don't know. I guess that is his job, right? And if it was vice versa and was a white woman with 2 black children in the back, this would have never been an issue. So you see how you jakes is the target. And then this other couple where the white woman came out and filmed them and everything, they said, we're just going to move forward. We're trying to live peaceably with our neighbors. Our people love Jesus so much that it's destructive, man. That's what's been taught to us. And I guarantee you, all those supremacists that you see are Christians. There was a portion going back in the 1600s, let me say 15, 16, 17th century, that they wanted to convert so-called blacks to Christianity. And this is where a lot of Christians give them credit for. And then we converted. But do you know the conversion came with killing and murdering and colonizing? Jesuits from the Roman Catholic Church. There was Christians who said, these people are the curse of Cain, they're black, right? And by them being black, that we own them. But then you had another sect of Christians saying, well, they can be with us still slaves, but this is the easiest way to convert them. We want them Christians so they can be docile. And that's why you look at most black men that are Christians, they have that look to this day. So you had a certain Christians who didn't want us to be Christian, and then you have a certain Christian who wanted us to be Christian, but are under the mindset of being docile and loving white Jesus. And this is what you see with all these situations and clips that I put in there. That at the end of the day, it's all about what you saw as the Savior, white Jesus. This woman probably would have pressed charges if it was another black woman, so-called black woman, right? Nobody would have stopped that car if that was a white man with black little girls in the back, so-called. Nobody would have stopped that. Nobody would have said anything. You see what I'm saying? And like this guy said, that none of this would have happened if a black man shot somebody and the calls was coming out, ringing out. They'd have went into those houses and jammed up all those so-called black men and handcuffed them and sat them on the ground until they found out who did it. This guy, Steve Buscemi, who got sucker punched by Jake, they found him quick. But an old man gets sucker punched by Jake, they don't know where he is. So you can clearly see that these elites are trying to keep this racism thing going on. That separates things, and it separates the children of Israel. But at the end of the day, the ones with white skin that know that they're Israelites, they're going to wake up. They might look white. They might look like different nations. But guess what? They're going to wake up. You can't stop what the Lord set up. Let's go to Proverbs 11 and 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Right? So this is why it's so much confusion, because you might have had some people marching with Martin Luther King, and they might have been saying that they were white, and some of them probably was Israelites. They just look white. Like a Blake Griffin, who has a son that's blonde hair and blue eyes. Yeah. So things are changing. This is just the beginning of what you see happening. They're bringing in that agenda, so we're going to see all kind of these kind of fights and wars and Crips and Bloods and government against, the people. And let me read a little bit of that. 2 Ezra 15 and 12. I guess there's a lot on here. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it. Now Egypt is another word for bondage. You can read that in Exodus 20:1. The house of bondage. That's just a Greek word, which goes, the original land they speak of Egypt is Mizraim. Right? They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fall through the blasting of hail and a fearful consolation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. That's your weapons. That don't necessarily mean a gun. It could be a knife. But more likely, these swords are going to be guns. Because nobody's bringing a sword to a knife fight, a swords to a gun fight. You know what I'm saying? But you might have some people have swords, actual swords. All right. They that till okay, let me go on. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand and fight against another people with swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes. So there's going to be a time that we've seen this at the these Christians, capitalists or whatever you want to call them, when they was storming the White House. It's going to escalate on different levels, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, depending on what they have. A man shall desire to go into the city, and shall not be able to, for because their pride in the cities shall be troubled. Right? This goes to Isaiah 14 too, as well, when it talks about the pomp shall be brought low. The house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And you see you effeminate Christians, man, you in for it. You in for it, man. Okay? For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, in the course of the action stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. Right? A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread. Bread does not just mean flour. It just means food. And for great tribulation, behold, saith God, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reference me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south and the east and Lebanon, right? To turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. Now, we're going into Joel, the 3rd chapter, right? When the Lord will gather all nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh's judgment, Yahweh Shaphat, Yahweh's judgment, right? And you're going to see these things turn up. You're going to get more and more of these skirmishes, more and more of these troubles, more blood loss, right? You're going to see more of these unrighteous decrees, as Jeremiah 10 say. You're going to see more of these things transpire. And it's because we told you. This is something we've been speaking on for a very long time. And it'll go up and down, up and down. But as the money starts drying up, the love of many shall wax cold, as Yahweh said. So that's going to get worse, especially when you don't have guidance. You raise the generation. This is the worst generation. And I'm talking about in general, from young to old. The old people don't give a damn. The young people don't give a damn. It's all screwed up at this point. So they're going to bring these draconian laws and things is going to change. But anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.